garden, and somebody found my lens cap. So I asked at the castle gate at reception before I walked out, and at first they said no, nobody found anything like that. But as I was walking away, not 10 steps away, this lady ran out of the office and she said, wait. I imagine that's what she said. She was speaking in Japanese. And so she had my lens cap in her hand. So we got lucky, because I don't really want to have to go without the lens cap. It definitely just puts the lenses at a little bit more of a risk. And man, I'm glad I paid the extra 50 yen to come in here. Look at these Japanese maple trees. I mean, we have one at my mom's house, and we planted it probably when I was, I don't know, 10, and it's not taller than my chest. So the fact that this thing is 15 or 20 feet tall tells me it's been here for 100 years or so. I don't know why they just had me do that loop right there. Seems like this is the way to go, this way. So we'll go this way. And there's beautiful cedar trees here, pine trees. And instead of putting this lens cap in my pocket, I'm just gonna hold on to it. I think the last time I lost the lens cap, when I was at the palace in Kobe, I was wearing the same shorts, and these shorts don't have the deepest pockets in the world. So I'm just gonna hold on to it just to avoid any more complications. Oh, maybe this isn't the same way. Huh. This is definitely confused. Oh no, it is. There's that path. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out, oh, that tapestry is beautiful, is these are rain chains. So instead of downspouts on the gutter, they put these chains there, and that redirects the rainwater out of the gutter. So there's a little restaurant here. Oh, it's air conditioned in here. So all these people are taking a break in here. I may do that on the way out. There was a really good ramen shop next to the train station, so I have a feeling that's where we're gonna get lunch. Also next to the train station was a Montbell store, and Montbell is, oh wow, this bridge is beautiful. But Montbell is a camping and hiking supply store, so I won't videotape that, because I don't think it makes sense to videotape a business like that. But I think I will, before I get on the train, wander around that store for a good half hour and cool down, take advantage of the free AC. Now I know that this is a national garden and it's just like part of their national heritage, but I gotta tell you, if Mr. Venna ever won the lottery, I'd have something just like this in my backyard. This is beyond beautiful. Okay, so it looks like this is the way. Here's pictures by different photographers of the gardens through different seasons. I don't think you're gonna get a good shot of them, but they are. They're really done really well. Here's more of that other pond. Oh man. Well, we've got the beautiful pine trees that are well manicured over here. Got the little island with the pines right there, the waterfall. Oh, and there are some, you're probably not going to be able to see it, but there are some huge tadpoles in there. I mean, Some of them are a good 6 or 7 inches long. And I don't know if this pond is fed by a stream. Oh, there's koi fish too. You might be able to pick out the orange koi that's making its way. And here's 2 more white ones or gold ones coming through. Oh wow, there's a ton of them over there. Oh, sorry. Oh, this big orange boy coming towards us is massive. I think that's the biggest koi I've ever seen in with my own 2 eyes. There he is, right underneath of us. What a beautiful, beautiful animal. He took a bite of that leaf and he didn't like it. Koi are very slow growing, if I remember correctly. I actually have visited some koi farms in my days from back when I was a fish farmer, and a unblemished koi fish can sell for thousands and thousands of dollars. And I don't mean like 2 or 3. I mean like 40 or 60 or $80,000. They really, but if they lose 1 or 2 scales, they lose the coloration that was in that scale, and the value drops insanely. So koi farmers, at least the koi farms I've been to, they work very diligently to protect their koi from predation, from predators. But a lot of people just have koi because they're peaceful and calm fish, and they look pretty. This guy here with the red and the white is very pretty. There's all different names for the different colorations. I don't know any of them. Sometimes, you know, there's only so many things your brain can hold, and you got to prioritize the things that are the most important. And I'd rather just say the red and the yellow one, or the white, black, and orange one, or the gold one, or the white one, rather than learning and memorizing all these complicated names. The older I get, the more I realize I forgot. So it's number 7. So we're going to follow this route here. Hopefully we see most of what's going on here by following these signs. If we miss 1 or 2 things, that's okay too. All these guys are hungry. It must be close to feeding time, and I bet you when they feed them from this bridge. That way, when the koi see people on this bridge, they come to the bridge like this. Man, these fish are beautiful. I miss my days as a fish farmer. I didn't make much money as a fish farmer, but it was a challenging job. Lots of stuff to do, and lots of stuff you could do on your own, you know. Actually, when I was a fish farmer, I actually kind of was going through a tough time in life, and was battling some bouts of insomnia. I was having trouble sleeping, and I was lucky to have that job at that time because you know, if it was 2 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't get back to sleep, I would just go into work, and there would be nobody there anyway. Oh, it doesn't look, that's closed, so we gotta turn around. There's a nice shady spot though. So yeah, so you know, 90% of the time, I would say 95% of the time actually, it would just be me. I was the main worker or technician, and then there was one senior technician. She would come in, Liz, her name was Liz, and she would come in. What's over here? She would, oh, a gate, so they don't want me over there. So she would come in and do like 9 to 2 or something like that, and she was more responsible for things than me. Well, she got paid more too. I was just an hourly worker. She got hourly, but her hourly was better than mine. And so I feel like the map would make this look a lot bigger than it is. So yeah. So as long as the chores, as we called them, and the daily inspections got done, it didn't really matter what time those chores and daily inspections happened. So sometimes I would wake up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and I wouldn't be able to get back to sleep. So I would just go into work and do all my chores at work and all my tasks and duties at the farm, and then be done for the day. So there's some chrysanthemum, some different plants in here, some raised beds. So apparently I'm not the only one that likes having raised gardens and not having to lean all the way over. And there's her, I would say 24 inches off the ground. It's got some beautiful bonsai trees here. So back to story time. I was lucky that I was able to do that. A lot of places, you know, it's not like if I couldn't sleep at night now, I could go in and teach kids science at 2 o'clock in the morning, because the kids wouldn't be there and the building wouldn't be open. Some lily ponds. Nephora japonica, Japanese something. And here's some, oh, these are lotuses. This bed is all lotus flowers. And there are some of the seeds. And they make like these pods. I don't know how the pods relate to the flowers, huh? So anyway, I was lucky in the fact that I was able to do that. So it was nice to have that job for a time and period. Though I admit, it wasn't something that could really truly pay the bills. There's some more beautiful, and I don't know how old these are. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bonsai trees. There's a lot of different trees that you can bonsai. Ficus, and that one, I gotta tell you, that one looks like it needs some water. The leaves are all curling. That's I don't know if that's Japanese maple, but it looks kind of like one. But there's all kinds of trees you can bonsai. So yeah, sometimes I miss being a fish farmer. I will say I don't miss farming tilapia, which is the fish that we farmed at that particular farm. They are a robust fish. They're really tough, and they're resistant to changes in their water quality. They could actually handle some pretty adverse water quality conditions. But I developed over the 3.5 or 2.5 years, 3 years that I worked there, I developed an allergy, not to the tilapia meat protein itself, because To be honest, I didn't eat a lot of it, but so most fish make a slime that they produce on their outside tissues to keep their scales sort of covered and slippery. And this slime prevents them from pathogens and microorganisms from sort of weaseling their way or squeezing their way through the little gaps in between the fish's scales. And I became pretty adversely allergic to them. I remember one day after work, I got a shower, and then I was spending the evening with my girlfriend at the time, and I fell asleep on the couch at her and her sister's house, and she said, in the morning, she woke me up and she said, "I thought you were gonna die last night. Your breathing was so labored and you were coughing so hard." She said, "I thought you were gonna die." And she said, "I even tried to wake you up a couple times, but I couldn't. You wouldn't wake up." So she said, "You're gonna do something about this. You're gonna either find a new job, they're gonna find a way to protect you from this hazard, or I'm leaving you." I was like, "Oh, well, I can't say that you're not saying that." Oh, this is just a lovely little pond. I said, I can't say that you're not saying that out of care and concern. So I had to take it seriously. And so I went to them and I told them, I said, "Listen, I did not realize how bad this was affecting me, but apparently it's pretty bad, to the point where people that care about me are severely concerned about my well-being. And now I'm concerned because I did not realize." So we tried a couple things. We tried a respirator, half-face respirator, and that didn't help. That didn't help. So the cost of a full face respirator and sort of one of those supplied air lines and filter lines was just too high. And so this is a wisteria tree that's been trellised to provide shade like this. My buddy's got a bunch of wisteria trees on his property. We should do this with him, because this is a nice way to make some shade. So back to my story. So we tried for a little bit longer to make it work, but then eventually I just had to sort of remove myself from the harvesting process. I was able to continue the feeding and some of the other daily chores and maintenance of the systems themselves, because I wasn't directly touching the fish, but I couldn't really take part in the harvesting process anymore, because even with the half-face respirator, after that day that we tried the half-face respirator, I looked in the mirror and my eyes were swollen because all the slime was getting into my eyes. So it really just was affecting me too much to continue my work there, and it was sad because I liked it. It was a cool job. You know, we raised we had 4 32,000 gallon tanks, and this pine tree garden is just amazing. I know I'm telling a story right now, but this pine tree garden is gorgeous. Go, 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 gorgeous. So, it was sad to have to take a step back, but I had to for my health. And I started to learn, I don't know if I learned the full lesson there, but I learned the important lesson that really no job is worth your health and well-being. I mean, it took me a couple more times to really truly learn that, but eventually I learned that lesson. I think this is back to the spot I was before, but it's just so pretty. So yeah, we had 4 32,000 gallon tanks, and we harvested about 100,000 pounds of tilapia fish per year and sold them to Wakefern, which is the parent corporation for ShopRite. So ShopRites are individually owned. If Mr. Venna, if ShopRites are individually owned, how come I can find the same ShopRite products in all ShopRites? The Garden of Flowers. How come every time I go to ShopRite, I can find, and go to different ShopRites, I can find all the same products and ShopRite brand things? That's because their parent corporation is Wakefern. And when they go to buy, say, ShopRite brand sugar, right? They're buying it from Wakefern. And everybody who has a ShopRite and is buying those products is buying it from Wakefern. At least that's the way it was back then. Keep in mind, that was, God. So it's almost 20 years ago. So, oh man, has it really been that long? It has. So this garden is really pretty too. Who am I kidding? All these gardens are pretty. So it was sad when I had to take a step back, but I had to for my health. So we'll go to the garden with a hill and a pond, and we're at number 12 already. So soon we'll head back to the train station, walk around that Montbell store, check some things out. Not that I really need to purchase anything. I don't think I saw this spot. Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, I walked through here. That's all right, it's pretty. We'll walk to the stone again. Oh, some more koi. That one's gigantic. Ginormous. That's not a word, Mr. Vanna. That's a made-up word. Actually, all words are made up. But that's another story. So yeah, we'll go to the garden with the hill and the pond. And this is also a bamboo garden. No, I don't think I went through this one yet. So during my gardening adventures, as I was coming up as a young gardener, in fact, when I had my little mini farm, shout out to the Moneras and the Trainas, I used to have, when I first got out of college, I tried my hand at farming. And I used to have about a 200 by 200 foot garden. So 200 foot one way, 200 foot the other way. And that garden would was on the property of my friend's grandmother, and it worked out for both of us really well. One, there was somebody at grandma's house every day, every morning, so that if grandma needed something, she could just yell out the window, "Hey, Vanna, I need your help with this," and here's a deer scarer. So the bamboo is delicately balanced, and then when it fills up with water, it tips over, dumps itself, and then when it falls back down, it makes that clinking, which should scare deer away because they don't like intermittent noises like that. So it worked out for the echo under this pavilion. This pagoda is kind of interesting. So it worked out for everybody in the sense that I had a place to try my hand at farming. Grandma had somebody that was there all the time, or really frequently, I should say, because I spent a lot of time there, obviously. But it wasn't, you know, sometimes when people get older, they don't want to admit they want help or need help. So it's not like Venna was stopping over every day to check on grandma. Venna was there to work on the garden. And if grandma needed something, then that just so happened to be convenient. So that worked out really well. And then grandma, she got the first pick of all the produce. So I'd make sure she got the reddest tomatoes and the juiciest cucumbers and the tastiest cucumbers. I actually think that they're a little bit tastier and zestier when you harvest them before they get too big. So it worked out well. Why was I telling that story? Because when I first started doing that, I had went and harvested a bunch of bamboo from one of my friend's houses, whose neighbor had planted bamboo and it sort of overgrew their property. And I went to try to help them by removing some of the bamboo, and then I used it. I actually wiped it down with bleach. Did you drop that, young man? Young lady, did you drop? She must not speak English. It's somebody's microfiber towel. So, what was I saying? So I got this bamboo, and I actually was really worried that it would re-sprout because bamboo is exceedingly robust. So what I did was I wiped it with a light 10% bleach solution to sort of give it a hard time, and then I put it up on sawhorses and let it dry for a little bit, so that there wasn't much moisture left in there. There's some more tadpoles in that pond. I don't think you're going to be able to see them. I'm not going up there because they want you to remove your shoes, and I've had enough of removing my shoes today to go into places. Plus, it's not, I mean, you can see it all from right here. And then when I made my trellises, I made big old trellises, like teepees at the end, and then I would connect the teepees with horizontal pieces of bamboo with supports in the middle. And when I did that, I turned the bamboo upside down to again discourage it from regrowing. It worked for a good amount of time. I would say, actually, I know the exact date that it all fell down. It was mid-August. So it lasted most of the spring and some of the summer. But a big thunderstorm came through and knocked it all down. because there were high winds. So the Soju Tea Ceremony House. I don't think I saw that. So we'll go up to that and then we'll do the exit. Because it's almost 1 o'clock and it's pretty warm. I'm getting ready for some lunch. And I'm ready to go into that camping store and wander around and cool down for a little bit before I eat lunch for sure. So yeah, so that was my adventure with bamboo. Now that I'm a little older, I know that there's multiple different types of bamboo. And look, you know, in parts of China, they use bamboo as scaffolding. And I've even seen FEMA case studies where they use bamboo as rebar in concrete structures to sort of hold the concrete together. So there is types of bamboo that are extremely robust and very, very strong. Apparently that was, oh, that bird almost flew right into me. At least that's what it felt like for a second. So there is types of bamboo that are really strong. I just don't think it was the type of bamboo that was on my friend's property. Because once this stuff dried out, it was, so they want 700 yen for a cup of tea. I think I'll pass. So the tea ceremony garden is closed for plant protection. Just take a peek. Now let's go find the exit. I do like me a good cup of tea, but I'm not feeling a cup of tea in this heat right now. So yeah, so I'm actually gonna switch hands with the pole here. My hand's getting a little numb. So yeah, so I tried to use that bamboo and it didn't really work too well. But like I said, there are parts of the world where they use bamboo and it's very strong. Now, I don't know, they may like shellac it or lacquer it to sort of hold its strength. But that August day, when my bamboo fell, it kind of, and it did have, I'll grant it did have the weight of all the plants on it, right? I had tomatoes growing up it. So I learned my lesson then, and maybe there's another way to do it. But now what I do is I use those metal green tea posts that you get at like the big box stores. And a lot of times people use them as fence posts for wire fences or barbed wire fences, or their electronic fences. I use them because I have every single one that I've ever bought and they still work. Sometimes I got to pull them out of the ground and put them back in other spots, and they get a little bent, but you can kind of straighten them out with some effort and then use them again. So you can learn from my mistakes by skipping the bamboo, even though it is a really creative and sustainable and regenerative way to make trellises. Now I use the metal green tea posts, which is also pretty sustainable because, like I said, I have metal tea posts. The garden of the Ward's residence. That's the exit. Did I see this already? I don't know who would need to wash their head on that. The one there. So, yeah, I think I remember that pond, that fountain. So yeah, so I still feel like the green tea posts are pretty sustainable because I have all of them that I've ever bought, and they still work and they still last, and I still have my post pounder you know, the tool that you use to pound them into the ground. I don't use a hammer. It kind of deforms the top of the post and makes it jagged. I have a purpose-built tool that sort of looks like a battering ram, but it's hollow, and you put it over the top of the whatchamacallit, and you slide that weighted piece down onto the post with 2 handles, and that works out pretty well. But yeah, I've had some of those posts, I've had 10 years now, maybe 15. They still hold things strong and they still work really well. I will say that I've tried to get away of using the plastic like net trellis, so I do need to find, looks like the paramedics are out front. I hope everybody's okay here. So looks like that was that kid's towel and they got it back. I hope everybody's okay. Arigatou gozaimasu. And at the end we get a look at a Japanese ambulance. A little bit smaller than an American ambulance, but I'm sure it's just as capable. The siren sounds different, I will tell you that. I'm sure it's just as capable as our ambulances. Seems that Japanese culture really values health and wellness. So actually, we'll walk through one of the shopping districts. Oh, 37 minutes. Maybe I'll shut this down because we're already at 50% battery. This Insta camera is not the greatest when it comes to shooting long videos. So I'm gonna shut. Yeah, I'll try to walk you guys through one of the shopping districts before I shut this off. I don't know. Now, 37 is the longest one I've made, so let's just shut this down. Because every time I make a video, I have to watch it again to edit it. So, it's going to be a 38-minute edit, and then upload to my phone, and then upload to YouTube. So it can be a time-consuming process. But now that I keep getting limited by YouTube, I gotta say, I think I'm gonna try to make longer and longer videos, even though it's gonna be more of a pain for me to process them. It's definitely gonna be more advantageous because if it's a long video or if it's a short video, it's still counting as one video, which seems kind of silly to me. To YouTube, they should maybe have some kind of formula, you know. But the only thing I can do is email them and ask them to unlock my account again, which I've been doing every time they lock it. Again, if you guys know anything about that, please comment in the video, or if you just want to tell me about something you saw in today's video or a story you heard me tell, comment in the video, because I do read the comments, and I know that'd be a pretty easy way for people to communicate what they're thinking and feeling when they're watching these videos. So feel free to comment. And oh, here's another ambulance. So I don't think this is good. I hope everybody back. That one actually says doctor car. So I guess that one contains more than just paramedics. There's an actual licensed medical physician. Not that paramedics almost tripped. Not that paramedics aren't licensed, but with different levels of licensing come different authorizations and the ability to do different things medically. And again, I'm not any of those people, so I don't really truly understand that. In some of my other videos, I said these are really pretty and I didn't know what they are. My friend Naomi told me that they're sake barrels. So they're what they traditionally stored sake in. I will say that most of the time I see sake stored in glass bottles like wine. Me and my friend Tomo, we did go to a really nice department store. And I gotta say, one of the biggest things that they were selling in this department store was food. All different kinds of tempura and sushi and eel and fish. But it was like a big department store, like Neiman Marcus or whatever. So that was a new experience for me. And when we went there, we went to the sake section. And even though Mr. Bennett doesn't drink much, I did want to try actual Japanese sake, because I gotta tell you, the sake that we get, or I've tried in the States, is nothing like what I tried in that department store. And there were different, you know, obviously there were different grades and different levels and different cost points, but all of it was much better than any other sake that I've ever tried in America. A lot of times when you go to a Japanese style or Chinese restaurant in America, they'll offer sake, which is a rice wine, but this was all of this stuff was so different. There was dry sake and sweet sake and like sort of fruity and aromatic sakes. So that was an interesting experience. It was kind of nice because they were all free samples. Now I will say, it's not like you were drinking big glasses. They were filling little tiny plastic cups with kind of just enough to put into your mouth so that you can try it. But to be honest, that's all I wanted anyway. Especially right now, I'm not big on the consumption of alcohol. I stopped drinking in 2012 because it's just I've got better things to do. I've got more things to do, and at a certain point in my life I found that it wasn't as fun as it was when I was a younger person. Still an adult, but a younger adult. So I decided to sort of just take a break from drinking, and I haven't really wanted to go back. I find that I sort of, even if I don't overconsume, I always feel a little bit sluggish the next day after I consume alcohol. And frankly and honestly, I have too much to do in my life to feel sluggish and to feel sort of a step behind. So I find that I don't really consume alcohol hardly ever anymore. I will say that, you know, there are special occasions where I will have one or two beverages. Last Christmas, my big brother from Florida, I think it was last Christmas, or maybe it was Thanksgiving, my big brother from Florida came up to visit from Florida, and me and his wife and my younger brother and his wife, we went out to a place to have dinner, and we ate dinner and we were just relaxing and chatting, and they said, I'm actually going to take a picture of this manhole cover for a school project. And I was sitting there and they were having a beer or two, and I said, you know, it's rare that I get to spend time with both of my brothers at the same time. So I opted to have a little bit of alcohol with them. But truthfully, it's not a productive thing. The last time I think I drank before that was my brother's wedding, my youngest brother's wedding. Or no, maybe it was my oldest brother's wedding. Either way, so long story short, and this is one of those small shopping streets I was talking about that I like so much. So either way, I tend not to consume alcohol anymore. And it's a waste of calories, I'll be honest. All right, I'm sure you've seen from these videos, I'm not exactly a small person, even if you've never met me in real life. But if you have met me in real life, you know, even though I'm very active, and I like to do things like climb mountains and go hiking, and I'm still kind of on the bigger side, to the point where it's less than ideal for my health. So I find that alcohol is just sort of calories that I don't need, you know? Man, she had that timed right down. So we'll walk part of this street, and then we're going on Miyuki Dori, and then we're going on to that store to wander around and cool off. It's 10 after 1, and then after I'm done in that store, I'm gonna get some ramen from that ramen shop because it was just so good yesterday. I want to try some different ramen from that same shop because I'm sure it's going to be just as good. So that's my plan. We'll walk through here, and I'm sure this is a long video now. Yeah, 47 minutes. Oh, and I just went from 50% battery to 25. So back to what I was saying before, the longer this camera runs, the more the battery degrades, and I am not exactly happy with how this camera functions, because on a camera like this that can run for 10 and a half hours or 12 hours, I should be able to run this camera for honestly 4 or 5 hours without it trying to. Yeah, it's piping hot. There's some takoyaki. I have had a ton of takoyaki since I've been here. Not that I'll ever get tired of takoyaki. Ooh, that's a good deal on eel. Not that I'll ever get tired of takoyaki. But like I was saying, this camera should, ooh. So there's more of the shopping street, and I wandered all this stuff yesterday, so I'm not gonna do that again. I just didn't bring the camera with me. You guys have seen a lot of these shopping streets. I love this depiction of Mount Fuji. It's just beautiful. And I see it a lot of different places. Sadly, I don't have the ability to bring a lot of things home. So like even that fan with the same depiction on it, that would be a cool souvenir. But guess what? It would get destroyed in my backpack. Because everything's got to fit in the backpack so that I can get home. I can get to the next place efficiently. So I think you guys got a feel for this shopping street. I'm actually going to shut this off because I'm worried about permanently damaging this battery with how much heat this camera is generating. And we're at 50 minutes. So that means that to edit this video later, it's going to take me close to an hour. But that's that. All right. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I hope everybody's doing well, enjoying their summer. I have been following the weather back home. I've been seeing it's very hot, and when it's not hot, it's really rainy. In fact, I think last night I saw a coastal flooding advisory for South Jersey and Cumberland County. So I hope everybody's safe and paying attention to the weather and protecting themselves. Stay cool and get out there. Get out there in nature and explore something beautiful. All right, love you guys. Bye.